and welcome to Flavours of Ulster.
We'll not only be showing you the origins of our fabulous produce here in Northern Ireland, we'll be giving you a few recipes as well. We're also delighted to come into the kitchen where we're joined by Chef Callum
as we find diverse and delicious flavours of Ulster. Hello and welcome to Flavours of Ulster. Today we're exploring the magnificent Glenarm Castle, right here in a very sunny County Antrim. So join us to find out the passion and dedication that goes into creating these products right here in the heart of Northern Ireland. Adrian Morrow, what a job you have, manager of this gorgeous estate. Glenarm Castle in the background here. We'll talk a wee bit about the castle and its heritage in a little while, but what about you? How long have you been here yourself?
I've been here probably since I was 4-year-old.
I take it not working at 4-year-old.
I was. So, my father was the chauffeur here, so he would chauffeur the family all around, and our wee school was just on the grounds of the estate here, beside the grounds. So each time at dinner break I'd go through the hole in the hedge and then to see my father, and I would help him wash the cars and do that type of thing.
No way!
So I've been here since I know nothing else outside these four walls.
That is a lovely connection. So you really have a connection to the land, to the place. How long have you been in your role as manager?
Well, I started on once I couldn't wait to leave school to get here. I mean, I fell in love with this place when I was 4-year-old. Such a playground for a young fella. So all I wanted to do was work with my father here. And I did that once I left school, more or less started working here on the farm, and I worked on the farm for probably 20 years.
And what did you do in the farm? What would have been your first jobs? Every job probably when you're on the farm.
Well, I got the worst jobs it was going, all the scraping out jobs. It was all the mucky jobs, feeding the calves and the pet lambs and everything. But no, there were good fun days. There wasn't as much pressure or stress then. It was just a farm, and everybody just come in the morning. They knew what they had to do, and they go on with it. So.
Such a gorgeous estate. I mean, this goes way back to the 17th century, isn't it?
17th.
Tell us a little bit about the family.
Yeah, it's the 17th century. It's owned by the MacDonald family, and their title is Lord and Lady Antrim. Yeah, I've seen, we're probably on my 4th generation coming.
My goodness. I love the story about how the house and the village did a wee bit of a swap.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The field behind us there where the cows are grazing, that used to be Glenarm Village. And the house itself, the big house itself, was in Glenarm. But they said that the Earl at that particular time was over in Glenarm one day and thought, it's much nicer over here.
So he just up and swapped.
Now, it took him 100 years, I think, to do it.
It's not something you just do overnight, I could imagine.
Yeah. We had a big flood here in 1996, I think it was. And the flood took the topsoil off this field and the next one beyond it, and we could see all the wee cobble streets. It was amazing. It was,
wow.
Yeah, look.
So the original village itself.
Still under these fields here we're standing on. Yeah.
Adrian, we've moved to the most incredible little space on this estate. Just perfectly manicured, but almost wild in a way as well. And the colours, the textures, this really is almost a jewel in the crown.
Yeah, it's like a wee slice of heaven here. So when things are getting too manic and too busy, it's nice to nip in here and just check everything's all right in the garden. No, just have 5 minutes to look around. It's heartwarming. Yeah, it's good for the heart. Now the gardens look amazing. These gardens are relatively new, although the this circle we're standing in here, that hedge behind you there dates back to about you know, late 1700s.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a good age of a hedge. But this was only more or less the only original feature left in my day. My father brought the sick animals down and put them in the garden. So
It didn't look like this when they were coming in, I can imagine.
no, it was the first place on the estate that grew grass because of the wall all the way around it. So that was where the early calvers and lambers came into the garden.
So you decided then to develop the gardens. I mean, they look like they have always been here, also in a way.
Well, I suppose that's the secret, you know, that it looks as if it's all. Well, the hedge is definitely here. There was a formal garden here, you know, to start with. And then the top half of the garden would have been a market garden type thing for all the vegetables was growing for the big house.
Tourism plays, I'm sure, a big part in the sustainability of the estate.
Now it does, yeah. So we went from having 1,500 visitors in 1996 to almost 100,000 visitors a year going through now. So
Wow,
yeah.
that's incredible. And do you find do you have international visitors, a lot of people from around the UK, from Ireland? We mix?
It's a diverse mix. The locals still come and support us, which is great. So the domestic market is still a strong market for us, because if they've got friends and family coming into the area, they bring them down to show them around. And then UK, America, Europe coming through as well. So it's a healthy mix of people coming through.
We are standing here in the field, and I mean, looks like you've got the most content herd of cattle here. Beautiful looking cattle, but they're a little bit different than maybe what you would get in most places. The shorthorn cattle. First of all, what are shorthorn cattle?
Shorthorn is an old traditional breed of cattle dating back, I think, to about the 16th century. So they're a really old breed. They were quite unique because they developed a shorthorn to produce milk back then, and a shorthorn to produce beef. So there were two, one of the only breeds that they done that with. So you get dairy shorthorn and beef shorthorn. So it's a really old breed, which was specifically designed years ago to produce nice eating meat.
Now, shorthorn, if anybody sees it in a menu in a restaurant, they will know that it is of a certain quality. And Glenarm shorthorn cattle and beef, I mean, you've managed to get your reputation up there. That's a difficult job, maybe, just keeping that reputation up there.
We're not too worried about that, because if you've got a really good product, it does the job for you.
It sells itself almost.
Yeah, it does. And okay, we've attached it to a nice brand as well, but there would be no point in having a nice brand and not a good product. So the product itself is doing the work for us, and we've been looking in the rear view mirror to see, you know, has any other farmer really caught on to this? And
have they? I mean, is this something that you go down the road and you'll see another farm with shorthorn cattle, or are people just maybe taking a wee bit longer to get into that?
It'll take time. I mean, farmers, we were all, you know, producing animals to the European Union standards. So we spent 40 years doing that. So we've got to relearn, and it's not going to happen overnight. I mean, when we were farming commercially here, our gross margin per cow was minus £175 a cow. So every cow we had would cost us £175 a cow. Transitioning over to shorthorns, within 5 years, our gross margin actually moved from minus 175 to plus 550.
Oh my goodness. I mean,
what we do is now, we eat the cheap cuts, because that's where the best flavour is. Yes, the fillet steak is nice, but if you want a Sunday dinner that just, you know, you could eat it with no teeth and a spoon, you know, it's the rib or the rump cap, you know, or, you know, the more what would have been termed as cheaper cut.
big estates like this, you would have held your grouse shooting parties, and how has that evolved?
Well, there was a report brought out in 2003 where the government had highlighted that the grouse in Northern Ireland was virgin extinction, and they'd done a count. I think there was about 100 pairs of grouse left in the whole of the north of Ireland.
Quite shocking.
It was a shocking report. And the family here used to have a grouse moor on the hill, but it was sold off due to death duties in the 1960s. But they had retained the shooting rights. And we had a gamekeeper here, and we would send him up there every year to count the grouse. And for 12 years, 10 to 12 years, the grouse population never moved. It was 2 pair this year, 3 pair the next year. So it never really got over 6 in 10 years.
Goodness.
So we knew what this report was saying, that Irish red grouse was in trouble, and they put it on the endangered species list in 2003. But nothing happened about it. So myself and Lord Antrim, we kept waiting, is somebody going to do something? So we come up with the idea of setting up a charitable trust called the Irish Grouse Conservation Trust. Lord Antrim had some friends, and they all donated so much into it. And we were able to bring a gamekeeper from Scotland and put him on the moor and give this project a go. And we inherited then a partnership in the Department of Agriculture. The Causeway College was the ones that had bought the land at that time, and they were in partnership with RSPB. But we started that project in 2007. We went up there and we started with the small number of grouse we had, because you can't bring grouse from Scotland or anywhere else, because these were a Hibernicus grouse.
Oh, right, okay. So it had to be then.
So it had to be the grouse you were left with. And we thought, oh my goodness, such an uphill challenge, starting with 6 grouse. How do you ever do that? But those 6 grouse really that was left was the reason they had survived, because they were so witty, and they had survived and kept low. And
I'm liking the sound. I have a great wee picture for a real witty wee grouse in my head here.
No, it was the clever ones that had survived, and that's what we started with. And within, I think it was 4 years, we had roughly 45 years, we had about 100 grouse there. So it was a win-win for everybody.
That must have been so satisfying, though, to know that you were part of that. And if someone didn't step in, who knows what could have happened.
Yeah, they probably would have been gone, but it turned out to be a far bigger project than what we ever dreamed of when we went there, because it kicked right through into, now they all talk about the carbon sequestration and water quality. These uplands are so important now to the environment and what they have to offer. It's just unbelievable. So I never thought I'd be talking about, carbon sequestration on the uplands.
You never know what one thing leads to another, but I think what makes it clear, talking to you today and getting that real little insight into this beautiful estate, the closer you are to the land and the more in tune you are, the more fruitful it will be.
Yeah, well, we have our bad days too, anyway. It's all harmony, but each and every person that works here is passionate about what they do. So the farm manager, Brian's passionate about his animals, the gardener's passionate about the gardener, the gamekeeper's passionate about his grouse. All I've got to do is keep them all talking to each other.
I think you're passionate about everything. Well, Adrian, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule and showing us around such a gorgeous place.
Oh, it's a delight to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Adrian, there isn't one part of, there's not a part of this estate that is not just aesthetically just gorgeous and beautiful, especially up somewhere like this as well. Somewhere like Glenarm, not only famous for your shorthorn beef, but I mean, naturally salmon as well.
Yes, Glenarm is home to the Glenarm Organic Salmon Company, who produce this amazing product which is exceptional in the world of salmon farming.
So you're not being biased, but why is it so exceptional?
It's got a really long fetch. We got, from the south of Ireland all the way up to here. So you can imagine when an east wind comes, the waves can be 10 metres high and the undercurrent's 15 knots.
Goodness.
So it's quite an unusual place for Glenarm Organic Salmon, but it does that in itself creates an amazing product. So.
And the sustainable farming practices as well, I mean, they're very much integral to what goes on here.
Oh yeah, sustainability is a key to everything that's done in terms of food production. If you don't have sustainability in any product, you're wasting your time, because it has to be sustainable.
And has the area, I mean, does the fishing history and tradition go back many years here?
Yeah, Glenarm, we were looking into the harbour there, and it's traditionally the harbour was built for exporting iron ore out of the Glens, and then it became exporting limestone out of the Glens. Now they're exporting fish. But there would have been small family fishermen, going, and there still has, they do all the lobster catching up through there, and the wee boats are out, it's lovely. We're standing on our wee glamping site up here, and when you're sitting out there with your nice glass of wine, and you can see the fishermen going up and down by, it's really pleasing and relaxing. So
Just need a wee bit of salmon to go with that white wine.
a wee bit of smoked salmon, yeah. You couldn't beat it. We're farmers, so when we went on this journey, we sort of jumped. We didn't have a big plan or anything, but all we wanted to do was produce meat you could eat and have flavour. So that was the one that took us in the direction. So now today we've got 70 other small farmers all producing Glenarm shorthorn meat.
Wow.
And the reason it's different, one of the main reasons is it's a good product, but consistency is the key. Brian, our farm manager here, is the consistency man. So we visit all the other farms every weekend. He gets into the car and he goes and he picks all the cattle. We see them cattle probably 4 or 5 times in their lifetime. We see them when
You
they're
need to
young
keep
calves.
those standards up when it's got your name.
That's right.
On it.
So you're only as good as the last animal you put into, and that's the key to the consistency, which gives then the end user, when they buy the product, they know the next batch that comes in again is going to be the same as the last one.
Exactly. Adrian, I think this is like a herd that you would nearly know each individual cow so well. I think I'm right by the looks of your face.
Yeah, I don't know him so well, but Brian, our farmer, he knows every cow, how many calves she's had, her age, how many teeth she'll have.
Any names?
Oh, he has them all named.
They're all named.
He knows every single one of them. He eats, sleeps, and breathes, and he probably knows more about these shorthorn cattle than he does about his wife.
Well,
Don't tell her I said
tell her
that.
that. Well, maybe, do you think, I don't think they'd run away from me.
Oh, no.
Hopefully not.
Do you want to go down and take
We'll
a
go down
look?
and have a wee look.
Okay.
Oh, that is so
And
funny.
I'm no joker.
And we're back in the kitchen and delighted to be joined by Callum. Callum, you're in your natural habitat here.
I am. I'm very comfortable here, Eve, and thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, today we're talking about shorthorn beef. I mean, one of the great things about being a chef in Northern Ireland is the incredible produce that you have to work with.
Yeah, the Glenarm shorthorn beef is amazing. Them guys supply beef to, I think, all over Europe at this point. I know they give it to Peter Hannon down in Moira, who is an amazing producer. So it's a great product. And today we're actually working with a cheaper cut of meat. So today we're working with ox cheek. So it's right off the side. Traditionally a very tough piece of meat. It's not like your fillet you'll get in the fancy restaurants. But again, it's relating back to the heritage of Ulster Scots and utilising the whole part of the animal. So we're going to braise this today.
And plus the cost of it as well, you know, when you're talking about using all, you know, every part of the animal. But talking a wee bit about shorthorn beef, I mean, why is it so good? We've heard from the producers themselves, but as a chef, why is it so good to cook with?
I think they treat the animals with a lot of respect. I know they're free range, I know they're grass fed, which then gives a lot of flavour to the protein. And it's just through years of knowledge and respect for the animal, them guys up there, it's commendable.
So tell us, what exactly are you doing with it here now then?
So
it smells amazing.
Thank you. I'm just sealing this off in plain vegetable oil. We're just sealing off the meat to ensure that all the flavour's kept inside. So
and is it important you do this with all types of meat, all cuts of meat? You know, sear it first?
If you're going to braise something, yes. So what it does, it just keeps all the flavour inside there and then allows you to slowly braise. So as you can see, we're achieving a bit of colour. And then we're going to pop it into your casserole dish in a wee minute. It's important, Eve, not to rush processes like this. I find at home people tend to rush cooking, but in order to get the best results and the best flavour at the end, it's important just to give things time. So we have, again, a mirepoix of vegetables, so carrot, leek, onion, celery. We've just used the same pan, so what that does, it keeps all the flavour in there, Eve. I'm just going to brown that off, so whenever you roast this, again, the flavour's all going back into here. So we've got our ox cheeks seared off, popped into our casserole dish. Then we've got our mirepoix of vegetables cooking away here in our pan, using the fat and the flavour that's came out. Now we don't want to rush this process again, we want a nice browning on our vegetables. So we'll need to...
I'm quite liking that, not having to wash too many dishes in between.
No, it's good, but you always keep the flavour in the pan, especially when you're braising things. Or say, for example, you're cooking a ribeye steak like you would have had on the farm, and you were making a pepper sauce. You know, you would use the same pan, add in your peppercorns, add your brandy, flambe it, your cream, and then it's a different kind of sauce because all the flavour's in there from your ribeye and the fat that's rendered off it. Mm-hmm. So you can see we're achieving a bit of colour there.
Yeah,
which is
it's
great.
Almost glossy.
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to add a wee bit of a touch of butter just to speed up two knobs just to speed up the process.
And does that add flavour again, or just help the cooking process?
Yeah, it'll just help things brown. You can see it bubbling away. And then this dish we're going to do with a bit of champ.
Champ, delicious, my favourite, I have to say.
And Ulster Scots favourite as well. So I think we're nearly there. Maybe another couple of minutes, as I say. You don't want to rush it, and this part's so important because it's going in the oven for about 3 to 4 hours, so we may as well give this a little bit of time and respect to build the flavour. Now I have some beef stock here, so it's double reduced beef stock. I'm going to pop it in, and at this stage I think our vegetables there, so we're just going to add this to the pan. Now at this stage I'm only going to add half, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a process called deglazing. So we have red wine, we'll add it to your pan, and that'll deglaze all the flavours off the base of the pan.
And the alcohol's evaporating off. If you're not a fan of alcohol,
exactly
you're not
that.
having to worry.
Yeah, well, it's not essential you use it, but I think it's important just in order to build flavour. So this will start to bubble, the alcohol will evaporate off. We will reduce this by about half. Add it in here, top it up with a wee touch of water, pop a lid on it, and let it do its thing in the oven for about 3-4 hours at 160. Yeah, so as you can see, we're reducing this red wine, as I say, by about half. I'm going to talk about champ. So it's obviously people think, oh, mashed champ is quite an easy thing to do, but it's very important that a lot of home cooks don't realise is anything that grows beneath the ground, you must cook in cold, salty water.
Oh, right, okay, so there we go.
I would always say
little secret tip.
Salty like the sea.
Okay.
Like literally.
And then bring to the boil and let it just...
Bring it to the boil slowly, so I'll put it up to about 9, say for example on this induction, and then drop it down to about 5, 6. Now what you'll do if you have it rapid boiling the whole way, the outside of the vegetable will cook, and the inside of the vegetable will still be raw, and you'll have a lumpy mash, and we don't want that.
Nobody likes lumpy mash.
No, and then when it comes around to sort of springtime, and we're using the likes of asparagus or peas or anything that grows above the ground, you'll always cook it in hot, salty water, boiling. As you can see, you can see the viscosity in there changing.
Yeah.
It's starting to be...
It looks amazing.
Slightly less liquidy, so I'm going to pop that in.
Looks beautiful.
And then I'm just going to add a little bit of water. and just make sure our ox cheek is fully submerged.
And do you put much water in it, or is
Just until you cover it. So the flavour's in there. We've got our wine, we've got our stock. So a bit of water will do no harm. So we'll just pop our lid on this. As you can see, it's fully submerged. We went through the process. If you want to grab the top oven for me, we're going to put it in. 160 degrees, 3.5 hours. It's not going to overcook. And then we have one we made earlier.
I like that. I like the sound
This
of
has
that.
been in for about 3 hours.
Wow.
And as you can see,
Oh my word. The smell, you just can't even describe that smell.
No, it's
It is
beautiful,
just
isn't it?
like a cozy, warm cottage by a fire on a wet kind of day. Just sitting beside it.
and then we've got broider gold carrot puree. We've actually got a bit of pickled carrot here as well. Really, really simple. Peel your carrots, chop them down, saute them off in a wee touch of butter, bit of veg stock, cook them right through, blend it down. So we'll just serve this on the base of our plate. You can see the colour there.
The colour is incredible.
Uh,
Beautiful.
Isn't it very nice? So that's one for me, and I
Gorgeous.
will do one for you. And then we'll go digging for our ox cheek. You can see that, lovely.
Wow. It's just looks incredible. Just beautiful. And you just tell the juices, everything has just come together so nicely.
Give this little sauce with some demi-glaze.
And what exactly then is that?
It's a beef reduction, very, very traditional French sauce. So it derives from a beef stock reduced right down, and then you add a little bit of red wine.
Delicious. So it's quite simple, but
Simple but packed with flavour, yeah.
delicious.
I'm just going to finish it up on top with a bit of the broider gold pickled carrot. So a simple pickle, I always use a 3-to-1 ratio for my pickles. 3-to-1 being vinegar 3 parts, water 2 parts, and then sugar 1 part.
Now, tell me exactly how you make champ like that, because that looks like proper restaurant gorgeous champ.
So as I said earlier, we just boiled our potatoes, starting off in cold salty water, until a knife went right through them, strained them off, give them a little fluff and a bit of heat. On the side, we used the Fisherwick Farm milk, which we boiled, added a wee touch of butter and our scallions, and then we just poured it in, mashed it down, whipped it up, and we're good to go.
This looks amazing, I have to say. It looks just,
Thank you.
fabulous. Again, I don't know where to start.
No, very comfort, home food dish, but presented in a nice way.
It makes a difference,
Let's
doesn't
tuck
it?
in.
Rather than just putting it in a bowl on top of a wee bit of mash, this is really, oh my goodness, the beef is just pulling apart. Looks so tender. Get me a little bit of carrot puree. Oh my word, that is incredible. So that is just so tender. That is with the whole cooking process, as well as the fabulous, being a chef and stuff. But 3 hours, that's what just creates that really just in your mouth, it just melts.
Melts, yeah. You should nearly be able to eat it with the spoon we have there.
It just, again, zings through. That depth of the sauce. And it's a good way maybe if you have carrots left over, because everybody always has carrots left over.
Of course, yeah.
You look in your saucepan, you've divvied everything out, you'll always have a few. So it's a good way probably to do that
Pickle
as
them
well.
down, yep, and don't waste anything. Or you can puree them and freeze them as well. Very nice.
Right, let's try the pickle. And how long do you pickle the carrots for then?
You can leave things in pickles for months. Eastern Europeans would leave jars of pickles in their cellar for years nearly. But I just boiled my pickle, sliced my carrot, put it over, and left it for about a day. And I'm going to get in there. Try it with a wee bit of the pickle too, Eve.
The pickle, I know I will.
It should cut through the richness of the sauce there. It should be really nice.
Callum, the flavours just come together so beautifully. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you so much, Eve. Really appreciate it.